as I went through St. Mary's, my goal was to get through 4 years of St. Mary's and to join the diplomatic foreign service. I spoke French, I spoke Russian. I spoke French and Russian at home and English at that point, so I was trilingual. And my mother had worked for the American consulate service in Harbin, and so I had some knowledge of that, and it kind of was a nice romantic job that I thought maybe I could travel the world with. And so I thought, well, my basketball skills and my education would lead me in that direction. By the time I was a senior in college, I had already been picked on a number of All-American teams. And at that point, I began to start thinking of using basketball as playing basketball as a career. But even then, you're absolutely right, I didn't necessarily think of the NBA. There was a industrial league in the United States that was quite powerful. It was called the National Industrial Basketball Association League, I think. I'm sorry. And it was composed of very large corporations that sponsored basketball. Phillips Oil, Akron Goodyear Rubber, a number of other huge companies that sponsored basketball teams, the Denver DC Trucking Company, and they and you traveled. It was a nice conference. You traveled. And they kind of prepped you for executive positions after you retired. So it was very attractive. But probably by the end of my senior year at St. Mary's College, I was notified that I would be a first-round draft choice. There was probably no question that I would be a first-round pick by a team in the NBA. I didn't know which team. And when I was picked by the Philadelphia Warriors at that time, they were called the Philadelphia Warriors. On that team was Will Chamberlain. It was a very well-known team. And by that time, I decided, well, I'll play 2 years to test myself, test my skills against the very best players. Because really the very best players were now starting to play in the NBA and not the NIBL. And so I kind of knew that if I did want to test myself against the best, I had to test myself against the NBA players. So I changed my mind about career choices and decided that I would go with the NBA. And Philadelphia drafted me number 1, and that was the 9th pick in the country.